Hi, I'm Erik Linask here at IT Expo East in Miami. I'm talking this morning with Serge Hyppolite from Aspect. Serge, good morning. Thanks for joining me.
Good morning, Erik. Serge Hyppolite. I'm the VP of Product Management from Aspect. Aspect is one of the leading providers of customer contact solutions based on Microsoft technology. So I'm excited to be talking to you today.
So, tell me about some of the latest trends that are impacting what Aspect is doing in the market.
Really, we're talking about a broader concept of what we call next generation customer contact. And that's really realizing that customers today, they're more empowered with choice, they're more empowered with information. They want to have the flexibility to interact with the companies on their terms, not in the terms of the company set. So we're driving innovation to help companies react to this new, what we call Consumer 2.0. Similarly, inside the enterprise, there's a lot of change. In fact, Aspect is partnered strategically with Microsoft to drive innovation around this change that's happening inside the enterprise and helping to take advantage of that change to drive company interaction with customers in a much more efficient way.
So when you talk about Consumer 2.0, as you called it, where does social media play into that?
Social media plays a critical role. I mean, today you can't talk to a company without the company talking about how do they react, how do they best take advantage of what's happening in the social sphere. Obviously, a lot of enterprises are looking at brand impact initially, but you quickly see the evolution from brand impact to the consumer reaching out and asking for customer service. Right? So we believe that social media is going to play a critical role in the evolution of the contact center. In fact, social media can provide a community-based self-service framework where consumers are helping each other with companies providing insight whenever appropriate. But also we believe social media is an outlet for consumers now. Again, back to the Consumer 2.0 choice and influence. You've seen many instances of companies and their strategies being influenced by the activity of consumers in social media. So I think it's going to play a critical role.
Would you say that companies that aren't at least looking at what to do regarding social media are doing themselves an injustice?
Clearly. I mean, you find if you don't respond to a consumer post, a consumer mention, a consumer inquiry in a social space, it negatively affects the perception of not only that consumer, but all their peers and everyone else that visits, whether it's a blog or their Facebook page or their Twitter post around your company. So I do believe companies must respond and must pay attention to what's happening in that space.
So obviously it varies with the size of a company, but how do companies go about determining which individual social mentions to react to and which they can let slide?
That's a great question, and I'll use the opportunity to highlight one of the Aspect strengths. Aspect is one of the companies in the industry, in fact the only company in the industry that provides not only platforms to enable communications between companies and consumers and companies and their partners and peers, but also tools to help optimize the effectiveness of the resources in the company with our workforce optimization offerings. I believe one of the key things to do social right is to have the proper analytics to understand when do I engage, when is appropriate. Sometimes the customer is looking for feedback from peers, not from the vendor, right? Not from the provider.
Right.
The provider must be aware because you can tap into that insight, tap into that information to provide better products, better services, etc. But I think you have to have the proper analytics to know when it's appropriate to respond. I also believe that you have to have the right infrastructure within the company to address that consumer inquiry. I talked about companies doing it initially with marketing and influencing brand and brand perception. But if it's a service need, oftentimes the marketing department is not the best group to address that service need, right? So companies must connect their marketing with their service channel, which is traditionally the contact center, to do that effectively.
Tell me a little more about your relationship with Microsoft.
Microsoft has been a terrific partner of ours and a very strategic partner to Aspect. And in fact, we believe that together we help companies solve the end-to-end challenge. I'll describe it a little bit more. So Aspect focuses and has focused for a very long time on communications between enterprises and the end consumer. Microsoft, if you will, has focused a lot of times on productivity of the information workers inside the enterprise, right? What we realized is a lot of the interactions that happen between consumers and companies don't always start in the contact center and certainly don't end in the contact center. They often need resources outside the contact center to fully service them. And so this is where Aspect and Microsoft have come together around the broader concept of what we call next generation customer contact, which is taking advantage of our interaction management platforms, our workforce optimization platforms, and Microsoft's unified communications platforms to connect the contact center, the enterprise, and the consumer. So now if a consumer engages the enterprise, maybe it starts in the contact center, and that contact center representative needs assistance, they can easily reach out to an expert or skilled resource in the enterprise using the UC tools that Microsoft provides, like Microsoft Link or Microsoft SharePoint or Dynamics. Similarly, if an enterprise resource has value and skills that they want to contribute to improving the customer service process, they can easily reach into the contact center. So we believe that together we provide the broader end-to-end solution that companies need.
Is social, has social become a part of the definition of unified communications?
Absolutely. Increasingly so, I would say. Some companies still today just focus on brand, but I believe social is a clear new channel of communication, a new channel for not only self-service with communities, but also a new channel of interaction. Companies that are, I believe, going to be successful are companies that use social even as a proactive channel. Why not impart valuable information to your consumers across these spaces? Why not foster a community of your consumers and provide value and differentiation for your customers that way? And similarly, social as a new channel into the contact center. So when there is a mention that you mentioned that a company needs to respond to, the agent within the contact center can receive that mention and manage that mention and appropriately respond. In fact, that is one of the capabilities that we at Aspect provide using our unified platform for the contact center called Unified IP. And what we're able to do is take a mention that may happen in any social space. We partner with many industry standard monitoring tools, companies like Sysomos, companies like Radian6 and Riverglass, to be able to take that mention and we can deliver that mention to the agent so they can respond. So now it's no longer just reactive, let me wait for something to happen. Now we're proactively delivering mentions that are relevant to be handled by the contact center. So I do believe it's going to be, and it is already, a channel into the enterprise.
Excellent. Well, Serge, thank you so much for joining me this morning. Have a great third day at IT Expo.
My pleasure. Thank you.